I've got these nice Robby Gordon KMC wheels, and don't know if you've heard, but we're going to be putting 1-tons on our JL, and so we're going to replace our 5-lug wheels with these new 8 lugs. The MV3 is again trying to simplify the install of the monster valve. You do have to get behind or the inside of the wheel to the backside, so it is very difficult to do this install with the tire if you've got a tire already mounted to the wheel, because you're going to have to dismount the tire to either get your hand in there or take the tire completely off. In this case, I've already, obviously I've got the brand new wheel, so I'm going to install them before we put the tires on. And so let's go to it. This Robby Gordon has the stock stem here, and sometimes I put it close to the stock stem, my monster valve, and sometimes I go opposite. On this one I'm going to go opposite because it's going to go straight 180, and I've got a spoke opening on this side, and so it should work out well. The nice thing about that is when I'm on the trail, it helps me to find the stems. So if I stop on the side of the trail and I can see one stem, I know exactly where the other one is. It's on the other side, as opposed to sometimes if I've got 2 stems close to each other and they're up on top, I'm kind of bending over looking for where the stems are. So in this case, I'm going to go 180 opposite of the stock stem. And where's the stock stem? Right here. And so I'm going to go right there. I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of changed up my mount system, where my wood, I just cut some grooves here with crudely with my chop saw, and that holds the back part of the rim and locks it in. I hold it down with some clamps, and keeps the wheel from moving around while I'm drilling. So again, let's see, stock stem here, going here, and get all my parts ready. I'm going to go up 5 steps on the drills from a pilot hole, which is like I don't know, it's an 1/8 inch drill bit or something like that. And then I'm going to go up 4 more steps up to the final 1/2 inch diameter. All right. So this is a different diameter than the MV1. The MV1 goes up to a 7/16, and then you tap. This one goes up to a 1/2 inch, and then we'll show you how easy it is to install the MV3. I think I've got all my parts here. Yeah. One of the things I always like to do is lube the bits for alloy wheels with wax. I think that's the best lube for alloy or aluminum is wax. So I'll put some wax on all. I don't want to. I don't put the flame on the bit. And instead I just put the flame mainly on the wax, because I don't want to lose any heat treat that I might have on the bit. I might heat it up just a little bit just to get it to melt, but primarily it's just a little heat just to get that wax to melt right onto my bit. Okay. Here's something you've seen me do before too. I make a little template out of a piece of cardboard or paper, and it allows me to set it in there, and it saves me time, because I just set it in there. I know where the center point is. See, I've got my center line drawn, and then I just put a little hole there with my punch, and then each wheel I do after that is simply copying what I did on the first. I'm not giving it a whole lot of pressure. I'm just kind of letting it drill in. One thing I forgot is I just always want to protect my paint on my wheel from the chuck on the drill. In case I hit it, I don't want it to wear through my paint. One thing I should have mentioned also is when I set the position of that hole, I'm setting it primarily to clearances of this. This is the monster chuck. All the 3 different monster valves all took the same chuck. This is a kind of an updated version where you'll notice we put grooves in 90-degree elbow here, just to give it more grip when you're pushing it down. See, this is the old one, and so if you have grooves, you've got the newer version elbow. And so I always stick the monster chuck onto a monster valve, and then I position it in the rim, trying to imagining putting the chuck onto the monster valves, making sure that I've got enough room. If I put it way in here, I could not have gotten this chuck onto the stem. So I move it out, make sure I've got good clearance there. I've probably got between this edge and this a good 3/8 of an inch, which is fine. Okay, step 2. I'm going to line it up with the center of my wheel. Okay, now on the back side, what I want to show you is what happens on the back side. The back side creates this sharp edge here, and I don't want that sharp edge because if you can imagine, so the way that this works is that there's a wedge nut here, right? So the wedge is, as it tightens, just spreading this rubber grommet out to the edge, and you can do it tight enough where it actually can cut into the rubber grommet. To alleviate that, there's a couple different ways. I mean, you can use a file, you can use a chamfer bit like this. But if you can't get to the chamfer, so right now I'm in this valley, so I can't really get the chamfer bit to hit these edges. So here's another way I can just get my die grinder with some kind of a radius bit, and I can just carefully hit the edge. Okay, feels a lot smoother. It's going to be a lot easier now on my grommet. So if the nice thing about this design is even if I couldn't get the grommet to come out the edge or the outer surface like it is here, it doesn't really matter. It can be, let's say the material of the wheel, like on, let's say, a Walker Evans, which is really thick. This thing was inset into the aluminum material. The idea is that you can still tighten this inside that cylindrical shape, and it'll still tighten itself and lock itself in. One thing that I didn't show you is the MV3s come with a tool. It's a brass tool that hooks into the slots on the nut, and the hex at the end is made for a 5/16 or an 8mm spin through driver. We don't want you to use a wrench on this. We want you to use a small diameter handle like this, because this is all the torque we want you to put on it. So right there. Okay, and that's plenty tight. I can't move this at all. So this is done. This wheel is done, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. Okay. Here's the cap. This lanyard is backwards. On the lanyard, there's a big hole and a small hole. The big hole goes on this, and the small hole goes down on the stem. Right now, this one is backwards, I can tell, because it's grabbing onto the cap too tight. So, anyway, that's the final. There it is.